Have you ever wondered how your browser knows where to find a website when you type in its name? It's all thanks to the DNS, or Domain Name System. This ingenious system is like the phone book of the internet, translating human-friendly website names into computer-friendly IP addresses. Every time you type in a web address, your browser initiates a DNS lookup. This is a process of finding the correct IP address that corresponds to the website you're looking for. Imagine the internet as a massive city, and the DNS as a clever GPS that navigates the complex network of streets to deliver you to the right location. Without DNS, your browser would be lost in the vast city of the internet with no idea where to go. So it's safe to say that DNS plays a vital role in your internet browsing experience. So buckle up, because we're about to take a deep dive into the DNS lookup process. The first stop in our journey is your own browser. A fascinating yet often overlooked aspect of our web surfing routine. When you type in a website address, your browser doesn't immediately send out a search party. Nope, it first checks its own records, something known as a cache. The cache is like a personal diary, where your browser jots down the IP addresses of websites you've visited before. So, if you've been to that website previously, your browser might just have the IP address stored in its cache. If it does, voila, your browser bypasses the entire DNS lookup process, and you're straight on your way to the website. It's like having a shortcut to your favorite coffee shop. But what if the browser doesn't have the IP address cached? What if you're visiting a new coffee shop for the first time? Well, that's where our next stop comes in. If the browser doesn't have the IP address, it's time to check the local network. Now we're entering the realm of routers and local DNS resolvers. Think of these as the local librarians of the internet. They keep a record of frequently visited websites and their corresponding IP addresses. So, when your browser asks for an IP address, the router or the local DNS resolver is the first port of call. Imagine your browser saying, "Hey, do you know where I can find www.example.com?" If the router or the local DNS resolver has recently interacted with that website, they'd respond, "Sure, here you go, it's at this IP address." And the process ends here. Simple, right? But if not, then it's time to go even further to the ISP's recursive DNS resolver. This is where the quest for the IP address enters the wider world of the internet. But more on that in the next scene. Our journey now takes us to the ISP's recursive DNS resolver. This is where the big search really begins. The recursive resolver is like a digital detective, tirelessly hunting for the IP address that matches the website you're trying to reach. First, the resolver queries the root name server. This is a kind of directory assistance for the internet, pointing the way to more specific locations. The root server doesn't have the full address we need, but it does give us a crucial piece of information: the location of the top-level domain, or TLD server. Next, our resolver sets off for the TLD server. This server looks after large sections of the internet organized by domain extensions like .com, .org, or .net. The TLD server provides another piece of our puzzle, guiding us to the authoritative name server. Now we're getting close. The authoritative name server is the final stop in our search. This server holds the exact IP address we need, and it's also capable of handling multiple IP addresses for larger websites. It's here that we encounter GeoDNS, a system that directs us to the geographically closest server, optimizing our browsing experience. And with that, our detective work is complete. The recursive DNS resolver has pieced together the full IP address. Once the recursive DNS resolver has the full IP address, it sends it back to your browser. We're now ready for the next step in our journey, loading the website. With the full IP address in hand, we're now ready to load the website. Now let's picture the IP address as the precise GPS coordinates to the website's location in the vast expanse of the internet. This is where the browser takes a significant role. It utilizes the obtained IP address to establish a connection with the website's server. You can think of it as dialing a phone number to connect with someone. But instead of a person, you're connecting to a server that holds the website's data. But wait, there's more to this story. The internet is a global network, and distance matters. For instance, if you're in New York and the server is in Sydney, the data has to travel halfway around the world. That could slow things down a bit. This is where GeoDNS comes into play. GeoDNS is like a smart traffic system for the internet. It optimizes the route your connection takes, based on geography. So if you're in New York, GeoDNS might route your connection to a server in, say, Los Angeles, which has a copy of the Sydney website. It's a shorter trip, so the website loads faster. It's all about bringing the data closer to you. So your browser uses the IP address, connects to the server, the website's data travels through the optimized path, and voila! The website loads on your screen. And there you have it. That's how your browser finds a website using DNS Lookup. Let's quickly recap the DNS Lookup journey. The adventure starts in your browser, which checks its cache for the website's IP address. If it's not there, the request is passed to your router or local DNS resolver. Still no luck? The search expands to your ISP's recursive DNS resolver. Once found, the address is returned all the way back to your browser, which uses it to load the website. And that's how the magic of DNS Lookup works, making your internet browsing experience seamless and fast.